Hello and welcome to My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. This is me mimicking India's performance today. Hello and welcome, I'm Gaurav Kapoor. Yeah, they just didn't check in today, did they? And South Africa, well, all credit to them because they were all over India like a rash, and it just shows in the final result a resounding win for South Africa. It's not just the win, it's the way they have won. They won with 9 wickets still in hand. The captain Quinton de Kock not out there in the end. Brilliant today. 79 not out, 52 balls, and Themba Bavuma with him towards the end. Just the 1 wicket of Reza Hendricks that went to Hardik Pandya. But otherwise, it was entirely South Africa's day. Just really nothing to write home about for India. I don't think they can take anything from this win today. They really can't. But I'll tell you who can take something. It's Joy Bhattacharya, who takes home the My 11th Circle expert couch. He's not actually taking it home. We just let him sit on it for a while.
I never get this right. It's my high five is as bad
you guys have
his performance today.
Oh, don't go there.
Yeah.
Don't go to United.
I know.
It's unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
That's totally unnecessary.
This is 2 really old men trying to do a cool youth thing. High five!
Look, you just watch India play today and you're criticizing the two of us. Dude.
Think about Pommy, okay? I mean, Pommy actually is most hurt because like you said, after the way United played today, I'm surprised he even showed up for the show. But I got to give you professionalism, all full credit to you. Well done, you're brave.
You got a job to do.
You got a job to do and you get it done. Yeah. South Africa had a job to do today, and well, Pommy, you'd be happy with the way the South Africans have done their job today. They were pretty much flawless.
Yeah, pretty good. I think they'll be very happy with a 9-wicket win. I think it's resounding. It's convincing. If you're to kind of nitpick at stuff, perhaps you go to the beginning of the game and say they could have bowled better to start things off.
Yeah.
However, to be in that position where the start is not that good and then come back the way that they did with wickets in the middle and all the way through to the back end was absolutely fantastic. And when we sat at the halfway stage, I said that it's still important for them to go out there, and particularly with Quinton de Kock, because he's the experienced man, the explosive man, to use the first 6 overs. And Reza Hendricks came to the party in just rotating strike, making sure that Quinton de Kock could be on strike as much as possible. And where there was an opportunity, he'd pop it over the top to make sure that the pressure was on the bowlers. They weren't just going to bowl. If they were allowed to just bowl on a pitch that does a bit, then there's one that might have your name on it and you could be out. So the way Quinton de Kock played was really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, even with his when they were bowling rather, I'm sure Quinton de Kock goes in with a plan saying, Rabada's my key guy, I'm going to bowl him 2 overs at least in the power play, if not 3. 1 over is expensive, not afraid to change his plans.
No, exactly. And I think, exactly right. And I think India did miss a couple of tricks in the field. I mean, say for example, Navdeep Saini. I mean, the pace at which he was bowling is not going to help anybody except the South Africans. On a pitch like this, when you haven't got early wickets, the batsman has set, you know that Quinton de Kock's, that's his arc.
Yeah.
Really. That's the arc of most players, and he's particularly good at that. He's particularly good at short stuff and, playing balls from here. And you just had a situation where once Deepak Chahar was gone, there was nobody else really who really looked like getting a wicket.
I want to actually just bring that point again, just the lengths that the Indian quick bowlers especially were bowling. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so if you watch South Africa bowl and Rabada get whipped out the attack, and I think it's a big point you bring up, that Quinton de Kock decides that Rabada is out of the attack, especially with the ball swinging. Sometimes the captain will say, and in the compressed format, you should be thinking quicker, you should move your plans as he did. You might think, oh, I want him to bowl another one, maybe he'll get it right, and maybe he'll get me a wicket because you're used to him getting a wicket. He whips him out the attack, and it's a masterstroke because Buren Hendricks is right on song. And what he does is he bowls a full length. And when he bowls the full length, the swing's still there, and he goes across the right-hander, Nick, and the rest is history, because at some point, what was he, 2 for 8? I think he was at some point, finished off with 2 for 14. And he kept things quiet, but everybody else who followed bowled the same length. It helps, I guess, if you don't have as much pace as the likes of Rabada and Saini, because then you're not going to bowl shorter, you're going to be up there. And on a pitch that's encouraging it, just enough skills, ball swinging, nipping off the surface, then you're in the game. And the guys that had that are the ones who presented the most trouble. For India, as he said, Saini, quick, short, just short enough. There were pulls, lots of cuts to Quinton de Kock. Most batsmen, opening batsmen, like it short and you know, if you can play this way, then they're okay. On a surface that's nibbling a bit, you want them to be coming forward.
Yeah.
So, too short.
And India's really going to regret that wrong review that they took because Quinton de Kock was out. What was he at that point in time? How much was he on when Washington Sundar, I think? He was like I think he was around 20 or something. Gets on to 79 not out.
Yeah, but that first review, I mean, leave alone what happened in the second decision. That first review, I mean, again, there was a point at which you remember during the review, before the decisions come in, Rohit is looking at Deepak Chahar and saying, you really call that?
Yeah.
And what happened? Virat was just too trusting of his bowler.
Yeah.
I felt he trusted his bowler where he probably should have realized that the bowler goes, a lot of bowlers go with emotion.
Yeah.
You know, some bowlers are smart, very few bowlers actually are smart enough to say, you know, that may not be out. Most of them go with the emotion. And exactly the point that, you know, we were discussing, the wicketkeeper was going down the leg side.
Correct.
The wicketkeeper's movement is the clearest indicator of where that ball is going. That review cost us really bad.
Yeah, it did. And the thing is that here's the situation. I remember seeing it on TV. We saw it live as well. So I was seeing on TV and I said, that's missing by 2 stumps at least. Right? Your first instinctive reaction is this missing by 2 stumps at least. Later it turned out that I was actually giving credit to the bowler because it was even pitching. Even the impact was outside leg stump as well. And then of course it was going 3 or 4 stumps down.
Let's get into the mind of Deepak Chahar for a little bit in trying to explain, not justify what is done, but explain what goes on in his head. So in his head, he runs up and he bowls out swingers to right-handers. That's what he does.
Yeah.
The ball goes from leg to off all the time. And generally he'll go past the bat. And the reason that was straighter is because there was a lot of swing. So he was trying to get straighter and bowl what would be termed a magic ball so that it would go from on the stumps and swing away. But as we've seen many a time, if it's swinging from off stump, from 4th stump, from 5th stump, as soon as you try and go on the stumps, your wrist breaks a little bit and you're not going to bowl the magic ball. It just carries on with the arm.
Yeah.
So he's thinking in his head, I'm trying to bowl an outswinger. It's pitching on leg, but the wrist's not up. So it goes down the leg side and his emotion is, this is what I bowl every day. This is an outswinger. I'm telling you, that's wrong, that's wrong. But he's convincing himself. He's telling himself because that's what he believes. He's emotional about it all and he thinks, I've got it, I've done it. I wanted to go straighter, I went straighter. I've hit him on the bat, must be out. I bowl outswingers.
Yeah.
And that's where keeper comes in to say, no, that one didn't swing.
Yeah.
You know, skip, that one didn't swing. We shouldn't go upstairs. But think about the situation of the game as well and all that's going on. Oh, can we get one? Can we, you know, at worst, someone would have said, at worst, it's clipping the stumps, right?
Yeah.
And so you go upstairs because you're gambling on it.
Yeah. Well, this is why
wasn't a good review.
This is what Rohit told me once on my show. Where Rohit, I said, well, you know, as captain, another thing you need to do is DRS calls, right? He just said, I trust my keeper. I said, what about the bowler? He said, never listen to the bowler, never listen to his exact words. But who's his keeper in MI? Quinton de Kock.
Yeah.
No, I think
Rohit should have asked Quinton, he was at the non-striker side. Hey buddy, should I take that DRS? Come on.
Because Rohit was clearly, the body language was, you called that, you went up for that, he's got hands on hips, and he's looking at him because he knows that that's not out. The other thing is, I mean, in Virat, in some ways, it was strangely sweet that he trusted bowler and then he said, oh God, that was, you know, that was a terrible review. I mean, there's a certain amount of innocence and trust which is good, but as I said, sometimes you can't trust your bowlers that much that you know.
As Rohit says, never, ever, ever trust them. But I like, Pami, thank you for that insight because that's such an important insight. Because also, sometimes we forget that as pace bowlers, when you guys bowl the ball, your eyes do go off it for just a split second, don't they? In the follow through.
Yeah, there's angles, there's a whole lot of stuff. I mean, if you think about the fact that you know, the stumps are in line like this, and you bowl from here. So there's already an angle.
Yeah.
So right from the beginning, the ball's got to go in a direction towards, to exaggerate it, from mid-off to fine leg, right? Not quite like that.
Yeah.
So the guys who get closer to the stump, so Glenn McGrath, trying to think of others, who get right over fourth stump, Vernon Philander, get over the off stump, they can go wicket to wicket. And if they hit you on the pad, generally you're out because they get so close. But most people, it'll be half a foot, might even be a foot from the off stump. And therefore they're bowling at an angle that goes in towards right-hander and must then just shape from there, right? So if it's hitting you that side, the angles are such that in order for it to hit the stumps, it's got to be swinging like a boomerang.
And if it swings like a boomerang, DRS won't pick it up anyway.
Correct. So that's hectic. So you're not going to get too much of that happening. And as the bowler, it's an emotional thing. You can't be running up thinking, no, I didn't get you out. No. You can't. Nobody's thinking that.
Yeah.
For the bowler, just about every time, you're out somehow. I don't know how, but I got you. You're out.
You're out. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah,
Not you. You stay. No. Stay. Yeah. Our director was leaving when I said that. He was like, I'm done. Well, here's the thing now. You're looking at this bilateral series, right? A T20 series, which basically has been a 2-match series. And you look at it and you go, all right, what's the big deal? It's been 1-all. But if you just take Virat's statement into consideration, which is how he was speaking before the game, where he said, oh, it's important for us and, we got to bat first and we got to put ourselves into situations that we're not comfortable with as India is not batting first and which we've seen today. You just look at this and you go, all right, it's a 3-match series. What's the big deal? But perhaps a big deal should be made by India about this. Both of you can just pipe in on this. They should make a big deal of the fact that they've had a really bad day and they've had a bad day with batting up till number 9, number 10. And maybe could this be a trigger to make some different composition decisions?
Look, I think definitely the other thing is that clearly what they tried to do was, even though they had Rahul Chahar out there, they've clearly moved away and said, can we get the job done without leggies?
Yeah.
Because they didn't play a single leggy. The 2 leggies were not there. The third leggy who's out there, they didn't play him. And one thing it does, an inexperienced batting lineup like South Africa, it would have been really useful to have somebody who was a wrist spinner on this. So I think, they probably realized that. But secondly, I think there's one part of it which is exposed, which I believe should be exposed, which is this whole business of a long batting lineup never ever works. It just doesn't work. You're far better off getting 5 genuine bowlers. And we've gone on and on about this. Today what happened? They got stuck. They had a situation where if De Kock was getting more and more settled, it was getting more and more difficult to get the left arm spinner on because they were scared he'd just play him with a turn.
Correct.
And when they got him on, you could make out Kunal Pandya is bowling defensively. He's not trying to. The first time that the ball really let rip was by Ravindra Jadeja, where he actually just hit the pitch and allowed it to turn a bit.
But that's another question I have, Pami, that Ravindra Jadeja, your most experienced bowler in that lineup by far, right? You don't bring him in until the game is over.
Yeah, I think it's particularly to the point of the left armour, the left armour to the left-hander. So Quinton de Kock's doing the damage. It's difficult for you to say, right, because which part of the field are you covering?
But Krunal was going for runs, right? So you go, I have to get a left armour in, might as well get the guy who'd probably get me the turn and is more experienced, right?
Yeah, I hear you. I think essentially in Virat's thinking, Krunal bowls it slower. So you're not trying to beat him by a great deal of turn. It didn't turn a great deal. So flight, and he's the kind of more guile guy. Can he get him to try and run at one? And that's what you think. And it's a hunch. It's just how it goes. You go with something. You only have 20 overs. So you go with something. It doesn't work. Such is life. On another day, he might go with Jadeja because it might be gripping. It might be a slow one where he thinks, okay, I'll go with Jadeja because he'll bowl it faster, difficult to get at, and it might turn and bounce as well. So just one of those things.
One of those days. But leggy, we got to talk about, leg spinners are the vogue in T20 cricket. There's a reason why
there's a reason.
Everybody wants them.
There's a reason
somehow India didn't want them in this series.
Yeah, and the other thing is that, Navdeep Saini, for these kind of conditions, Navdeep Saini will go. Because the conditions are like that, the kind of pitch you have. And which is why I always found it interesting that Bangalore picked him, because Bangalore, the kind of pitch is not really suited. You're bowling at 150. The only way Navdeep would work is against batsmen who are not quite international class, who don't quite play 150 bowlers that particularly well. But if you're going to bowling at that, you're going to go. You're going to go. And that's something that India has to look at. Of course, most of our really, guys with guile have not been there. Bumrah's not there, Bhuvi's not there, Shami's not there. So there's a lot of, gas left in the tank. We've tried other resources. But I also have a problem with, trial and error towards one World Cup, because even in a World Cup, one match you can get knocked out. So I'd rather say that, whatever it is over these 37 games, I want to win 30 games. India should look at that and look at, they shouldn't be saying, let me try and do whatever I need to prepare for a World Cup. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it's just too long a run-up.
Yeah, look, I don't know if there's a right way or wrong way here. And the reason I say that is because I think there's no harm in looking at other players. So in my head, as I think about India's side, come October 2020 in Australia for the T20 World Cup. I was going to say 2020 World Cup, but that'd be too much, right? Okay. I struggle to see an Indian side without Chahal, for instance. I think he'll be there. And so...
Yuzi Chahal.
Yeah, I see, particularly Chahal. I'm not so sure about Kuldeep, because he needs to be bowling well. He's a good bowler, and he generally, against South Africa, for instance, he reaps rewards all the time. Him and Chahal have tormented South Africa over the last couple of years, and they'd have been happy not to play against them. But when I say I don't think there's a right way or wrong way, it's not a problem to look at other players to see how you can bolster a squad to go and play some 2020 cricket in Australia. Now, this is the time to have a look, right?
Yeah.
Early on, and as you get closer, let's say when you are 10, 15 games out, you can then say, right, now we play the guys who we think we bat up to number 6 or number 7, and we have these 4 and 5 bowlers or 4 and 2 all-rounders, whatever it is, to take into the tournament, and we replace them with so-and-so and such and such and such, if and when, whatever the conditions are, and so forth. So at this stage, and look, there's no justification for going down. You don't go down in a game and then say, no, we were trying stuff. No, India picked a team they felt could win today. That's just how it is. Every single game, that's what they do. But there is no harm in looking at which players are going to make up your squad. And you're better off doing it earlier, and then when you settle on who they are, giving the guys the run when it's time to get to the tournament. So in the run-up to the tournament, which will be closer to the time rather than now sort of...
My only problem is that this was probably the theory India went with for the World Cup, and their number 4 batsman, when somebody got injured, who do they call? Rishabh Pant. And in the most crucial match, who's batting at 3 down with 7 odd runs on the board? Dinesh Karthik, who hasn't played at all in the series in that position. So all, as I said, the best laid plans of mice and men, you just don't know what happens.
Yeah, hence I say no right way, no wrong way. You kind of got to go with what you think. And if the management think this is what we're going to try and do, at least they have that as a plan and they go with it as a plan. Whether it's done well or not is dependent on whether someone's coming back with a trophy or not.
That is right.
It's as simple as that.
That's right. Well, there's one guy who's taking a lot away from today, and that's got to be Quinton de Kock. Remember that he was captain in this series. He's not been named as the T20 captain full-time. That is correct, right?
Yeah, everything is kind of interim at this stage because Cricket South Africa is kind of sorting itself out. New structure, director of coaching, or director of cricket, then national coach, or what have they called him? They've called him head coach, T20, interim director of coaching in the national side.
Interim director of coaching.
Yeah.
That's a big visiting card.
Apparently it's supposed to be like in the Premier League with the managers, where you'll have greatest manager of them all, Sir Alex Ferguson, and above him there'll be a director of coaching or director of cricket, which there isn't a director of football actually at Man United, but that's a different subject. Totally different.
No, what he meant was there's no direction of football in United.
True, I can take that. And then there's batting coach, bowling coach, fielding coach, fitness, physio, and all the rest. So That's what they're trying to do. At present, they're kind of narrowing down a list and finding which people they want. Muzumdar for the test matches.
Amol Mazumdar, yes.
Yep, he's going to be doing the test matches. Lance Klusener is the batting for these
The
T20s.
T20s, yeah.
And Vince Barnes for the bowling, fielding, Justin Ontong in the South African setup. So it's all still a work in progress. It's a voyage of discovery. It's what I've called it with them coming here. And they'll be over the moon, South Africa,
With this result,
having
yeah.
won this because he played well. Bavuma, game one, couldn't transfer from getting a start. But today, read the situation, came in, run a ball, make sure you give Quinton de Kock the strike. Reza Hendricks did exactly the same thing. Game was set up by the bowlers. These batsmen came and did the job. If they can find guys who can do exactly that sort of thing, different game, of course, test matches, but get some scores on the board in the test matches, that'll be more than over the moon.
Yeah, clinical today. And for Quinton de Kock personally, because he said before the series that a win here would mean a lot to him. They obviously haven't, so nobody's won, nobody's lost. Both have won the trophy.
South Africa haven't lost here then in 2020s
Yeah.
internationals.
Yeah.
And more importantly,
2015 they won.
India haven't beaten them
Yeah.
on home soil.
Fair enough. When you see a team that's in transition can come to India and do that, I know it's just one game, but that's the series. I didn't plan the series, right? I didn't say it's going to be a 2-match with 1-match rained out series. The fact is that it's 1-all. India has not won the series. India's not lost the series, but it's not like the Ashes, right? It's not like they retain it at 1-all, right?
No.
It's not like South Africa retains it. Okay, just checking.
No.
I haven't understood that. Still, I still don't understand how Australia's taken the Ashes back. It's 2-all.
Different subject.
Different subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not. We can't just bring United and the Ashes both into this, so we'll just keep it to United. Of course, India and South Africa.
Dear.
Well, let's talk about our My 11 Circle champion of the day. Let's have a look. Bring it up. Bring it up. There you go. Satyendra Yadav. Congratulations. 305.5 points for you. You're the champion of the day from Lucknow. So well done. And then our My 11 Circle Ultimate Team of the day. These were the top 11 performers. Satyendra probably had all 11 of these. Well, you had Shikhar Dhawan, Virat Kohli, Quinton de Kock did well today. Of course, Reza Hendricks, Bavuma, Jadeja, Pandya, 14. I'll get it right. Kagiso Rabada, the vice captain, Bjorn Hendricks, and of course, the Braze Shamsi. Well, there you go. What comes out of this series then? Well, something comes out of South Africa for sure. Virat Kohli has, after the match, said that, well, this is exactly what we wanted to do, and this is going to be our template going forward. I don't exactly know what that means. We have to say that probably in context. So I don't understand what that means. Does that mean they're going to keep experimenting? Or does that mean that they're going to have a long bowling and lots of all-rounders? Because remember, India was playing with 4 all-rounders in the 11.
Right, yeah.
4 all-rounders. There's 2 Pandya brothers, Jadeja and Washington Sundar. Washington Sundar has opened the batting. Definitely opens the batting for his state team. So you've got them as 6, 7, 8, 9. You're playing 4 all-rounders. That's very rare. You don't see that happening. Will that be the template going forward? Well, it's going to be a while before some T20s are played, not till early November. So I'm sure we'll get the answers then. Of course, before that, all of October is going to be test matches with South Africa. There's 3 test matches that are to be played in that series. Let's have a look at what the India squad is there, right? Let's have a look at who's playing there, and more importantly, at the South African squad as well, because with the Indian squad, no real sort of big surprises, except the fact that KL Rahul, after being given a lot of chances, has been let go. Hanuma Vihari listed as an all-rounder. That's interesting. His bowling, it's well, a bit of a stretch, but okay. Ashwin as well, okay, we'll take that. That's fine. We've got Jasprit Bumrah, which is the good news, coming back for India, rested in this series. And of course, the 2 keepers, Riddhiman Shah and Rishabh Pant. My first question to both of you, who's going to be the wicketkeeper? Come on. Who's the wicketkeeper? Who's the keeper in your starting 11?
It's a big call.
Not football.
I would go for Riddhiman Shah.
Riddhiman Shah?
Simply because I feel he's the best pure keeper in this country. And if you're going to play, the kind of conditions we're going to have are going to favor spin. Early in the season, it's going to favor spin. You're going to have 2 spinners, maybe 3 in the squad. If Hanuma Vihari may be bowling a lot of overs as well, you'll definitely have 2 spinners in the squad. I'm saying you need a really good keeper to take advantage of it, because these are going to be games where they're going to tie them down and one guy's going to, Ashwin's going to bowl 15 from one end, and Jadeja might be bowling 15 from the other. You need the best spinner possible, and I think Wriddhiman Saha is the best keeper for the spinners.
Yeah, logical. I think it's logical, but I don't think you should discount, even though at present, as you look at it, you wouldn't say that guys have their positions slotted quite nicely. You shouldn't discount a scenario where Wriddhiman Saha plays and Rishabh Pant plays.
That's interesting.
I don't think you have to discount.
See, because Rohit Sharma's opening, with Mayank Agarwal. You got Pujara, Virat, Rahane pretty much select themselves. Hanuma Vihari is definitely batting at 6 after his performance in West Indies, which means you've got Saha at 7 and then 4 bowlers.
Correct.
So Rishabh would find it tough to get into that top 6 in place of somebody else.
Well,
and there's a Shubman Gill also knocking on the door.
Yeah, theoretically, he's going to find it difficult to get into the lineup. But I'm just saying it shouldn't be discounted as an option simply because he doesn't play only as a wicket keeper. He's a batsman who keeps wicket. And yes, he would get into the side, and he's been in the side before as a keeper. But in Indian conditions where the ball will spin, you want your best glove man. And so you're going to pick the guy who's going to ensure he'll take most of the chances, if not all of those. And at this stage, it is Wriddhiman Saha who will be behind the stumps, right? However, when it comes to batting, you pick your best 6 batsmen.
I like it.
That's just how it goes.
That's really good. And India has done that, by the way, Pommy. I'll agree with you because India has made that, we keep saying 3, 4, 5 is set in stone. You know, you got Pujara, Kohli, Rahane. But India's played without Rahane in South Africa, played without Pujara the first test match in England last year, and played without Pujara in England, which again was a mistake. But the point I'm trying to make is that they do it. They sometimes make these sort of rabbit out of the hat kind of moves in Test cricket. So I'm agreeing with you that don't discount that may happen.
Yeah, and
good.
Look, it might be in a time to come, just as long as on the table, as everyone thinks about, well, what's the team, who's batting where? They're your specialists, your 2 openers. Yes, who are the guys, the 3 or the 4 guys who are in position to open and who are in contention? Fine. But then the rest of the order, you know, who's at 3, who's at 4, who's at 5, who's at 6, who's batting the best, who's got the best form, which of the guys do they put into that lineup? And Rishabh Pant's name doesn't go with just where the wicket keeper goes, it goes with the rest as well, as one of those who might go into that lineup.
He's played white ball cricket as just a batsman, right, with Dhoni as keeper. So why could he not do the same?
And let's not discount the fact he's got a test century in Australia, he's got a test century in England.
He's got England and Australia. So, well, interesting. All right, let's have a look at the South African squad. Let's see how many new names are there. Not that many, actually, and some familiar names coming back. You, of course, have Faf du Plessis, who comes back as captain. Wasn't here for the T20 series. There's Dean Elgar. Of course, Quinny de Kock is still the wicketkeeper. Henry Klaassen is an option that they have there as well. Markram returns. There's Zubair Hamza. Theunis de Bruyne, the all-rounder, along with Vivian and Philander. Then Rabada, Keshav Maharaj, Lungi Nagiri, Muthuswamy, Anrik...
Nokia.
Norkia. Norkia, so a bit like the phone then.
Yeah.
That's easy to
go
remember.
with that, yeah.
And Dane...
Pete. Yeah, like Peter, short for Peter.
There you go.
Yeah, Pete.
He lives in Joburg. Come on, we need his help to get it absolutely correct, right? All right, so you look at that team and you're going, well, there's not that many new names there. There's a lot of experienced campaigners there.
Yeah, look, there are guys who have been knocking on the door, who've been in and around the scene, but what you get with teams is you have your mainstays and then you have kind of the supporting cast.
Yeah.
What's happened is that the mainstays have left.
A lot of them,
That's well, just about all of them. So Faf du Plessis as the skipper will walk in at number 4. He's a big player, big wicket. Quinton de Kock, be interesting to see where they decide that he should bat.
Your openers are Elgar and Markram, you said,
right? Elgar and Markram will be together. And number 3, I believe, is going to be Theunis de Bruyne. Theunis de Bruyne got 100 in Sri Lanka, didn't play Test match 1, played Test match 2, and South Africa had a nightmare there, and he got 100. And a losing cause, but just looked so at ease. Easily his best innings at Test level, where he's kind of flattered to deceive some of the time. So coming to India, he'll have good memories of Sri Lanka where the wicket was turning and he made runs. So he'll walk in at 3, Skipper at 4, 5, Temba Bavuma plays decently when it comes to the spin, patient, likes to sweep, likes to reverse sweep, likes to use his feet, and has done okay when it comes to spin. So he'll be happy there. Then Zubair Hamza is the one I think is going to get his go at number 6. He played against Pakistan at the Wanderers, looked decent. He's scored lots of domestic runs, and is one who's going to get a decent enough run, a decent enough run for an opportunity to take that number 6 spot. Then Quinton de Kock at 7. I say at 7.
Yeah, they'll bat him up and down.
It depends where they want.
They'll bat him up.
After that is Philander, Rabada, and then Maharaj is in there, spinner 1, and then Dane Pete. Is he in as 2? If he is in as 2, then you might not be able to have all 3 of
your fast foot.
Rabada, Ngidi, and Philander, or Rabada, Nokia for his pace, and Philander. So it's a juggling act, and we'll see what it'll be about conditions. How do they have 2? Do they have 1? Hopefully they have 2. They made a mess up in Sri Lanka, South Africa. At the SSC, where they played 3 fast bowlers or 4 fast bowlers when they shouldn't have. Should have played 3 spinners. Test match was over in 2.5 days. Yeah. So hopefully runs on the board and pick the right team, pick enough spinners. Err on the side of more spinners rather than more fast bowlers. It's difficult for South Africans to do. They revert to type. So hopefully that's not the case this time around.
Well, it is going to be quite a cracker test series. It will. I mean, it definitely promises to be quite a good test series.
India should be too strong.
You say?
If I'm honest,
if
I'm honest, India at home should be too strong. But we can never say it's going to go like this. You just never know.
I'm trying to keep it even so people are interested and they come to watch.
No, there'll be interest whatever the case.
My only thing is that really what South Africa is missing, which you've always had in South African squads, is that quality all-rounders. They had a lot of quality all-rounders almost through. And that's the one thing. And your spinners really, Philander now bats much more decently than a lot of this thing. But Philander at 7 is a reach. Because there's 8, Philander's at 8.
You're saying Philander at 8. Philander could bat at 7, right? If you're playing de Kock at 6.
He's number 8,
And if you put Philander at 7, then you can play Ngidi, Rabada and 2 spinners. But is Philander good enough for 7 is the question. Because then you don't have batting. Then you have de Kock coming in at 6. Right? And then you have...
But they might do that. So
Philander and 4 others. Which means then you play Rabada and Ngidi and 2 spinners.
So South Africa generally, in recent times, so Steyn, Rabada, Philander, Ngidi, right? Plus a spinner, minus a spinner, plus a spinner, minus a... So depending on where they play, they're able to play those guys. But because of injury, I think there's been an erring on the side of many bowlers, right? Because you don't know who's going to go down. And Philander has been injured, Steyn has been injured, Ngidi has been injured. So it's a bit of a problem. But everyone's coming into a new season. The hope is that everybody is absolutely fit. And if they are, then you can pick 6 batsmen, a keeper, and 4 bowlers. If not, 5 batsmen, keeper at 6, and 5 bowlers. To just ensure that you can get through the day and you don't have 3 bowlers.
I think though they'll play defensive. I think at least for the first test, they'll play 4 bowlers, not 5. They won't take a chance right now early on. They'll want a draw. They'll want to see the conditions. They want to see how much they can bat out. And the kind of batting displays they've had in Sri Lanka will not give them a lot of, belief that, they 5 can carry it through. That's my
Well, okay, how many of you carried through on the joy factor question? It was an interesting question. We'll pull the question up for you again. You really pulled some out of the hat, huh?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
No, this is a question clearly directed.
Youthful question.
Yes, at my own white hair. That's all, yes.
Youthful question,
Who is it for India? And the answer is...
What we were looking for is the oldest player to represent their country in a test game.
Match, So Mankad played his last test when he was 41 and 305 days old. And if you think that's old, Wilfred Roed played his last test match when he was 52 years old.
Wow.
52 years old, you think he's going to get his pension. Oh, I'll just go and play a test match and I'll come back for my pension.
Didn't Shahid Afridi also played his last game at 52? Didn't
No!
At
I
18?
agree with his under 19.
Come on. I tell you, one of my all-time most exciting players to watch.
Yeah. Afridi?
Afridi.
I thought you'd say Wilfred Rhodes.
I used to go watch Wilfred Rhodes when I was just a wee schoolboy in my tiny half pants. I used to go watch him play live at the village. Well, we've got a winner. We have got a winner, yes. We've got a young winner, in fact. I'm just making that up. I have no idea how old the person is. Rajesh, congratulations to you. 1M Rajesh? I am Rajesh?
Yeah, right. I think he's running this one. I think he's running Cricrohit pretty strongly in the last few days.
Yeah?
Rajesh has won a few. Yeah, definitely he's won a few.
Is this just Crick Rohit with a different handle? Is that what it is?
Good question.
I think we should ask people to, along with their answer, send a copy of their Aadhaar card. Oh, that hurt. Ouch, that hurt. No, we need some sort of identification.
Yeah.
Right? Some sort of unique ID. Give them a Cricbuzz ID.
Or we should have the NRC, National Register for Cricket Lovers, you know. And see, before 1971, were you a cricket
So
lover
interesting.
Oh, before
NRC, I like it. We're gonna keep a register and give you all like barcodes or unique numbers, just so that, you know, the old ones, the old foes don't come back as new foes, right? So we just know who is who. Got to account for all of you to make sure that the same guy doesn't walk away. Actually, we don't have a prize to give, so it's fine. You can keep winning it. It's okay. It's all notional anyway. It's all for pride. We can't control your pride.
I think you should get a prize to give.
Should we give a prize? Should we just give... see, we gave away the red tables last season, so they're all gone. We can give away the expert couch.
Yeah.
No, you can give away a mug. You can give away a whole lot of stuff.
Balls.
You can give a ball. You can give something.
That's what they're getting right
It's
now.
nice. It's nice
Balls.
to. It's nice. Hey, it's nice to win.
It is nice to win.
Ask Joy over there.
Ah.
I've sat on the couch
Feels
before.
good.
It's fantastic. Oh, how I miss it.
Heady feeling.
How I miss it.
As said every Manchester United supporter.
Oh,
This
how I miss it.
Wasn't Michael Vaughan the one who said that he's going to put it on a raft and take it back to England when he was here during IPL?
There you go.
That's what he said.
It's good to
Everybody
win.
likes winning. Everybody. All right.
Not
So
likes, loves.
loves winning. All right. So
Absolutely loves.
so what we'll do is the next series, which is the Bangladesh White Ball series, for all the Joy Factor questions, we'll give away a signed mug to
How's
everyone.
that? That sounds good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Get a few signatures on that, and as a Cricbuzz Live Joy Factor winner, you'll have something to tell your friends about. Just sip your tea out of the cup and just don't even say anything. Just sip it. Let your friends observe.
Winner.
Realize. Yeah.
Winner.
Winner, chicken dinner. All right, it's time for us to go. We're all done. Business finished? Business over? Series over? Short series. I don't like this. Should have at least a 7 or 9 match series. At least.
I beg your pardon.
Play them quick.
Oh, every day?
Second day.
Every second day?
Second day.
Oh,
Yeah?
Get a bit of momentum.
talk about binging.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can watch 9 episodes or 10 episodes a night.
Exactly.
We can watch 9 cricket games in 18 days.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, we can.
can do
Okay. Yeah.
We can do it. I tell you what, I'll work on it. Give me a few weeks. I'll be back after that. Thank you so much for watching My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live for this India-South Africa series. A big thank you to Joy Bhattacharya and Pommy Amangwa. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Hope you had fun.
As always.
You had fun? Hope
Yep,
you had fun.
absolutely.
Say you had fun.
We had fun.
Say you had fun.
Fun.
Say they had fun. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Well, I'm Gaurav Kapoor. Thank you so much for joining us all of this last week. And of course, a lot more cricket action coming up for you on Cricbuzz. We're sure you're going to be checking the app every day anyway. It's good night for now.